dark and smooth, you smile with those bright sunny days. Sunny days,
Changes for
love and
Kit.
shout out hallelujah.
Are there any
Changes.
changes?
Sunny days.
I like Kit, but boy, this book was a book.
So I think
Yeah.
it's interesting because, like I said, I came in slightly biased with Kit being my girl growing up.
Yeah.
And I think, as we have said, I think in a few episodes too, I think Kit's personality really saves her from having another
Yes.
Molly, because
1,000,000%.
people can come at me, but in hindsight, after reading the full series, not the most interesting books.
It just this book rehashes a lot of the heavy hitters of plots. This is just
There's
learn
so
how to
many
write a
walks down
letter.
memory lane.
Oh, the first like 3 chapters are almost like until we get to the letter writing.
Yeah.
Very, very rinse and repeat.
It's very like, and then Kit remembered a few months ago when she did this. Although, as we found out if you watch the video, and I think it's kind of alluded to, this takes place 15 months after the last book, which is crazy.
She's like, "Remember 2 years ago when my dad lost his job?" And I'm like, "2 years? What
So it's
happened here?"
1936 now, right?
Yeah.
It says 1936, and the book, the cover still says 1934, and it's been 2 years, so Kit is like 11 now, and it's never mentioned.
Nope, she's had a whole other birthday.
She's had a whole other summer. The
Also, her,
borders have
like,
moved out.
brother is, like, barely in this book.
He smiles once.
Yeah, he's got, like, a lot he's like, "Ha ha, yes!" Then he's fine.
Still
You're
hasn't
like
gone to college,
and he never will.
and he never will, poor Charlie. But yeah, no, this is American Girl Talk. This is the last Kit book, and so this is Changes for Kit. And I think we should just, like, get into it,
Let's get into it. Jump in.
Let's do it. So, chapter 1, Something Wonderful. And I put a note at the top. This is a Samantha Saves the Day chapter 1 chapter where, oh my god, I kept reading and I was like, this chapter is incessant.
Devastatingly long.
It was
Devastatingly
crazy
long.
and nothing happened in it.
No. It was like, "Hey, here's the Wikipedia recap of the last 5 books. You're
So
welcome."
one thing I don't get, I think it kind of started with Josefina, excuse me, too, was they the first 3 girls maybe, so maybe in Felicity, I forget, but the first 3 girls, some books would have 4 chapters and some would have 5, and from Kit onward, they only have 4 chapters, whereas I think they could have had 5 with this.
Yes. There was no reason for this first chapter to be 1. It could have very easily been 2.
Well, because I think, like, we'll get to it, but they, like once they start going to the soup kitchen, I feel like that's the 2nd chapter.
I agree, yeah.
It's
It's
a
like,
it's
it
a
shoulda ended with the hobo giving them the news and then soup kitchen chapter
Yeah,
2.
but let's not
Yes.
get ahead of ourselves.
That's right, that's right.
So guys, this chapter starts with Kit getting a new coat, and I put that in quotes because it's Dad's old coat, and Mom presents it to her, and everyone's like, "Tee hee hee, we have something for you." And Kit like walks into the room, and everyone's like smiling and like beaming, and I thought they were gonna be like, "We have money again. It's so over," and then they're just like, "We
Right?
got you a coat."
They're like, "Here you go." Also, Ruthie's there.
Yeah, Ruthie and Stirling are in on it. And then, like, all the boarders are in the room, and they all, like, wait as, like, Kit gets this coat, and then they all talk about how everyone did the reason they're all there is because everyone helped. Like, everyone got the coat, different people sewed different things, and so they all wanna see her get it. And Kit's super excited because it's a very, like, mature coat because it's a man's coat,
Yep.
which I also personally relate to, being like, I think I would find that cool as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Especially if it's, like, been, like, custom tailored for you, basically.
Yeah, it's a cute coat too on the cover.
It is a cute coat. It's a good, like, winter wool gray coat.
Yeah. Yeah. And so everyone in Kit's life is there to present her coat to her except for her dad, who's not there and doesn't have a job, we find out in this chapter, I believe, he has a part-time temporary job with the CWA, which is like one of
Yes.
the New Deal things. So, or he had, I think it kind of says he had work with the CWA. So it's kind of implying that he's not doing that anymore.
I mean, what is Kit's dad doing? He's had 2 years and
I
done essentially nothing except
guess he's giving his daughter one coat
build a couple things, build some house
and a coop
improvements in a coop.
and give a coat. Coats and coops is all he's good for.
Coats and coops. All men, really.
Really, truly. And so everyone's super excited and they give her the coat and then we kind of get Kit catches us up on the past 2 years. Let me say that again, 2 years since the book started. Aunt Millie and the Bells, who were the last boarders to join, the first boarders out, are gone. So we have no reason why, too. They're just like, oh yeah, Aunt Millie moved out and the Bells moved out too. So I'm wondering what happened with Aunt Millie a little bit. Do you think there was a fight?
I feel like she would have gotten restless. She seemed like a woman who would never totally settle anywhere.
Do you think she moved in with her friend?
Yes, absolutely. I think that her friend and her had a little, little something,
A little kissy kiss?
a little kissy kissy in the
Just 2
nighttime.
elderly women living together? Just as
And
friends?
that's the dream. And that's
My
the
Aunt
dream.
Millie and her friend Cheryl?
You know them. They are unmarried women of a certain variety.
They birdwatch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of the dream, honestly, but
And so, yeah, a little domestic partnership with your beloved friends.
well, when I was in, Cyprus, there were these 2 no, sorry, when I was in Romania, there were these 2 elderly British women who lived in Cyprus, who were literally just friends, but they, like, moved to Cyprus together after retirement and just, like, lived on an island together, and I was like, kind of
That's the dream. Are you
kind of a
kidding?
cool idea. Yeah.
Live on the island together?
With your best
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna want that.
I'm gonna dream of that. But so everyone's giving her the stuff. We get a little update on Charlie did his job with the CCC. Dad did a little bit of stint of work with the CWA. All the boarders are like family now, basically. And everyone presents Kit with the coat, and they also give Kit a hat and gloves, which they've also like upcycled. So this whole beginning of this chapter is just like a promotion for like reduce, reuse, recycle, and like upcycle. Because they used I think they used one of Stirling's old sweaters to make the gloves, and
Mhm.
then one of Charlie like, the Gracie the dog chewed up one of Charlie's hats, so they just, like, remade it into, like, a small girl's hat or something, they explain it. And so Kid has a whole new outfit, and then everyone, like, is like, try it on," and she does a little fashion show for
Yeah.
everyone, and they're like, "We love this, yay, Kit," and Kit's like, "Golly, I have a whole big family now." So she's, like, loving it, she loves the border, she
Oh,
loves
she's
her new life.
thriving.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is kinda crazy to think that those borders have been there for, like, 2 years now, you know?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that basically is your family at that point. Like, you live and breathe and eat, all in the same space with them, and they are literally keeping your family, like, afloat also.
Yeah, and it says also that mom has, like, relented and, like, the borders now, like, help with the household chores, which I think is fair, and, like
Yeah,
especially because 'cause they're really not charging, like, anything as we found out because the Kittredges are constantly, like, in, like, the throes of debts.
deep debt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, one thing I also liked was that Kit's new hat is a beret, and she puts it on and she, like, smacks it on her head, and her mom's like, "No, a tilt,
A little sideways. Be
because
chic,
mother is
queen.
still proper."
That's right. She's
She's
like,
still
"My daughter's gonna get out of this depression and be chic if it's the last thing I do."
oh, yes. And so then Kit's excited because she has all this, and she immediately thinks, like, I have my old coat now, which is, like, too small for me, but still works. So she thinks back to the hobo jungle and is like, I saw some kids living in that hobo jungle. Mayhaps one of those children needs a coat right now. And so she asks her mom, may I go back to hobo jungle and give my old coat to a kid there? And crazily, her mom is like, yes, just don't like get
Yeah.
on any trains this time.
Yeah, she's like, "I mean, I guess you could go. It'll be fine. Yeah. My child back in the jungle, it's more likely than you think."
I just think if my child got in the mess that Kit and Sterling would, I would again be like, "Well, I'll come with you maybe this time."
Ye yeah, like an escort. Also, she's just like, "Okay, Ruthie, you have to ask permission too, but, like, whatever, you guys are fine. Bye."
Yeah, so they all get permission from their parents to go to, unhoused encampment again, basically, which is cool.
It is cool.
And
It's an adventure.
and they get there, and Kit's like, "I remember the way," and they get there in shock, no one's there. And they're like, "Oh gosh, where did all the hobos go?" And they see, like, into the hill is built a, like, door that has, like, some, like, smoke coming up from it. Oh, and Ruthie has potatoes for everyone,
Yeah, like a little russack full of them.
for the hobo stew.
That's right, an
Um,
offering.
an offering for the hobo king. And so they get there and, yeah, they see this little, like, lean-to basically with just a door, and the picture flashed me back to, Trapper Dan's, like, lair, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, they're gonna find a dead body." I was like,
They were like,
"Kirsten, no."
"Oh, another man is frozen to death in the American Girl universe."
In the Midwest.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. The door is very funny with, like, the little boarded up, like,
Yeah,
paddle on it. Mm.
yeah. And so they knock on said door, and a, like, grouchy homeless man comes out, and is like, "What?" And they're, "Excuse me, sir, there used to be so many other hobos here. Perchance, where have they gone?" And the guy's like, "Look around, you fucking ninnies. It's winter time." No, like, the hobos are transient folk. No one is going to stay in Cincinnati in the winter time.
No.
It's like the worst winter we've had in centuries.
Yeah.
They've all moved on, except for us. And they're like, "Well, here's some potatoes for you." So this part was what confused me because then they leave the potatoes with these homeless people. And
Right.
then they go to the soup kitchen to donate things, but they've already given away their sack of donated potatoes.
Yeah, I feel like it was, like, an offering of, like, "Thank you for, like, enlightening us. Now we'll move on." Also think it's funny that those hobos were like, "By the way, we don't have any room for anybody else in here, so better be moving along.
Keep
This is
on
a
moving. It's like
this is a 5 hobo hole only."
it was very video game coded when you haven't unlocked talking to that character yet. It's
Yes.
like, "What are you still doing here? Go on, go on." And every time you
You've
go up,
exhausted the dialogue branch, but you're like, "I'm pretty sure I need a quest from this hobo, so what
it's
do I
like,
need to do now?"
Nancy Drew when you upset someone, and every time you try to talk, they go, "I'm very busy right now.
"Not right now,
Can't talk
thanks."
now. Not right now, Nancy."
And you're
And you're
like,
just like, "Can't check that off yet.
"I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to talk to you. It's locked. The
It's
dialogue.
locked. Still need to do that.
I can't check that off just yet."
Still need to."
Hmm.
I actually did a poll
Hmm.
I wanna see real quick for our fans to see,
I
because
voted
Celia and I
it.
found out, guys, breaking news, that our favorite Nancy Drew video game, what would we call that? Recapper?
YouTuber?
YouTuber, he covered the American Girl books, so I asked you guys in a poll yesterday if any of you played the Nancy Drew games, and most of you haven't, so sorry about
I
this.
know, I was
Shocker, though,
surprised.
you guys should. Shame on
The
you.
Venn diagram feels like it should be a circle, really.
Oh, yeah, you guys would love it. If you haven't played, buy a PC and buy a game that's no less than 20 years old and get to it.
Yeah, it's worth it. They're good games, and they're good
Th
stories.
they're so good. And much like the Nancy Drew games, this homeless man is not giving us anything.
That's right.
And so they go to the soup kitchen, and the whole scene is kind of described as, like, a very Dickensian, like, bedraggled urchin sitting on the side, and Kit's kind of lamenting everything she's seen the past 2 years, and so Valerie really gives us, like, a trip down memory lane where we touch on, like, something that happened in every book where she's like, "Why? In this very soup kitchen, Kit accidentally served her dad soup when they were too poor, and he was too ashamed to tell them he didn't have a job yet." And it's like, and then still
It's
here,
like,
she
okay.
saw this, and we go through everything that we've just read with Kit. So, it's kind of it was like I think you said in one of the other books, sometimes it feels like there's, chapters where it's like, "Hit this word count."
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, "Okay, well, I don't have enough time to introduce, like, a whole new concept to this book, so I'm just gonna do the easiest thing possible, which is rehash the lessons and the things that this child has already learned.
Yes.
And you're
And
like,
so they're
right, right.
yeah. And so they're at the soup kitchen and they talk to, like, the woman in charge, and Kit says, "We have a coat. May I give it to someone?" And the lady says, "Sure thing, just go and find someone." And Kit finds a little girl sitting with her mom, and she goes up to the mom and says, "May I give your daughter my coat?" And the mom looks very, very grateful, and because her coat is, like, basically just, like she says it's like rags, and, like, the
Like
pockets
falling apart.
yeah, the pockets have been torn off and so used to patch the elbows, which I thought was actually clever. I didn't think about that.
You know.
Um and so she gives this little girl her coat, and the little girl, like, immediately lights up that says, like she looked, like, very hollow and, like, ghost-like, and as soon as she gets a new warm coat, she smiles, and she looks like a little kid again, and it's a
Yeah.
very touching moment, and Kit feels very, like, I think, honored to have helped someone in that way, and
Yeah.
even Ruthie and Sterling are like, "Wow, that was very cool that we did that," and it meant a lot to that family to get something as small as a coat, and so the kids kind of were thinking, "How can we" but that was only one kid in that whole room of kids needing coats. It helped, but how can we help more? So, they walk home happy, but I think, like, feeling a little bit complex about things. Um
Yeah, they're facing I feel like they've been facing, like, the realities of this stuff, but I feel like because it's been going on so long, they finally and they're getting older, I feel like it's starting to click a little bit more that, like,
Mhm.
well, these things aren't necessarily getting better for everybody. Like, they improved for Kit's family in
Mhm.
some ways, but there's not a cross city occurrence necessarily.
Yeah, and Kit kind of reflects on that too when she gets home and her home is warm and all the boarders are in the living room kind of laughing and playing music and helping mom get ready for dinner, and she's thinking how grateful she is that they're not as wealthy as they used to be, and she kind of talks about how it's crazy how excited she was to get a new coat, and that used to be something that would have never surprised her or been exciting, but things have changed, but she still kind of I think she acknowledges and knows that, like, there's way worse off situations, and they're getting by, and they're managing, and they could be doing better, but they are by no means, like, at the bottom of the, like, social hill right now, you know?
Yeah.
And so then, Ruthie's dad comes in, and at first I was like, "Oh my god, is he gonna evict them?" Like,
You're like, the changes for Kara that she actually isn't as comfortable as she thought, and they are losing the home.
I was like, "He's the harbinger of doom, Mr.
Honestly,
Smithen."
it's kind of a crazy, crazy pull for the end of a AGT book.
Oh, yeah,
That's kind
and
of what happens to Kirsten. Just the rug gets pulled
well,
out from she burns her home down,
evicted
but
by fire.
affected by raccoon,
By raccoon and oil lamp.
it's more likely than you think.
I kinda miss that. Oh, that was such a good book.
What a craziest one of her books.
But he's not there to evict them or set fire to their house, thank God. But apparently over the past 2 years, basically, the Kittredges and the Smithens has something set up where, if the Kittredges have a call, then they'll call the Smithens, and they'll write a note whenever Ruthie or someone goes over, they'll deliver the message to the Kittredges. So they get a call that, is urgent because Uncle Hendrik is in the hospital because he slipped and fell and broke his wrist and his ankle, and he's not doing well, and so he has requested in his invalid to stay with the Kittredges at their boarding house, so he's going to be moving in once he's better, which,
Great.
cause like, this man kind of infuriates me in, like, a way he's supposed to, but also in a way that's, like, the nerve of some people, because he has been, like, making fun of their boarding house and telling them how stupid they are and how, like, this is gonna fail and how just awful this is for 2 years, basically,
Yeah.
and now he has, like, the nerve to demand that he stays with them, and I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know about you, but I think we all have family members who just are alone because they deserve to be alone, you know?
It's a
But you still have that
self-inflicted isolation because of
yeah,
behavior.
and then but
Yes.
you still have that, like, annoying kind of you still have that kind of annoying obligation to care for them, you know, it's like, Miss Kittredge can't be like, "No." Like, "Fuck you," like
Yeah, goodbye. Especially, like, more so back then, and because she's, like, a female family member,
mhm,
I feel like there is more of a sense of, like, "No, well, I can't say no to him." Like, though it's not like he was helping them out. It's not
yeah,
like the aunt where it's like, at least she had, like, helped bail them out before.
Mhm.
Like, Uncle Hendrik's been, like, kind of a curmudgeonly fuck from, like, the get.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just one of those things too where it's like, I don't know, I've like the familial obligation here. I'm like, you guys shouldn't have to take him in, but I understand why you do. But it's just kind of, I don't know. It just feels like the nerve of this man to be like, oh, well, the kid Richards will take care of me, and as you see later in the book, and I'll just be awful to them the entire time they're taking care of me. It's like I guess I get irritated by it because there are people like this. It's like it's cartoonish, but not, which is the sad
Yes,
thing, you know?
100%. 100%.
Like, I want
You're
I
like
wanna almost be like, he's such a cartoon villain, but he's not. It's like I have known people who have family members like this, I have family members like this where you're like, "I don't like you," and yet, like, I am told by, like, everyone in my family that I have to, like,
be
continue to have a
respectful.
relationship with you and
Yeah.
respect you, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
even though you're not gonna do your part back. Also, like, he literally is kinda a cartoon villain at the bottom of, like, the little
yeah,
chapter card. It's very funny, the, like, Stirling drawing, I think it's supposed to be.
yeah,
But, like, I agree. I think it is crazy because it feels like, "Oh, like, he's such, like, a schmuck," but you're like, "Oh, no, like, literally there are people like that."
yeah, it's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
And you know what's a bummer? Chapter 2, to do. So, Kit is writing a new newspaper, and I think this is cute, and this is what I would absolutely do if I was a 11-year-old girl, where now she has a captive audience for her newspaper, which is something she, like, never quite had before The Borders, where she's basically using this as, like, relaying the news of the house, which is kinda cute and also kind of useful, you know?
Oh, you gotta collect recon. Yeah, if I was a boarder, I'd be like, "Kit, where's that paper at?
Yeah. Like, because it
I need
probably
to
has things
know."
like cleaning day on Sunday, like, today's dinner is this, and, like, that's kind of fun and thrilling for her, and then it also says whenever they have new boarders, she gives them a special newspaper that has, like, all the information on everyone in the house, and I think that's kinda cute.
I love that. It's so cute.
It's very endearing, like, I would
Yes.
I would be tickled if I was, like, boarding somewhere and there was a little girl who gave me a newspaper of the goings-on of the house.
It's like you said, Valerie did do a good job in these books of just making us like Kit. Like, they make her very charming and they make her very, like, believably, like, little girl living in a weird situation, but making the best of it. Like, it's
Mhm.
adorable. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
I would eat it up. I'd be like, "Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Keep writing, girl. Dream big."
But even Kit's chipper attitude is having trouble coming up with something fun to say about Uncle Hendrik moving in. And I think in the last book, Celia and I were joking about how every time someone moved in, it was like the boarders immediately liked this person. They have found someone they don't like, and
That's
it's
right.
Uncle Hendrik
Finally, some beef.
and his evil dog Inky.
It is crazy to not only move in, though, but also bring your pet. I know they have a dog now, but, like and chickens, but it's hard sometimes to, like, introduce pets to each other too.
Yes,
So, like, adjusting to not only, like, a cantankerous old, like, dick in your home, but then also his dog.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And so Kit is sitting with her gang, Sterling and Ruthie, and they're kind of trying to figure out what they want to say for Uncle Hendrik because there's nothing positive in their mind to say for Uncle Hendrik moving in. And Sterling is ever the diplomat is like, let's just say like get well soon, Uncle Hendrik. And Ruthie is like, you could make the headline the sooner the better. And the photo of Ruthie is like her like spilling tea. She's like,
"Hey."
and I'm like, oh cackle cackle, snicker snicker. And once again, Kit the job befalls Kit to, like, take care of Uncle Hendrik, which I don't get why this is Kit's job of everyone in the house.
No. Especially since it seems like things are pretty settled, so it's not like the adults couldn't maybe, like, take again, and, like, I understand the dad is not Hendrik's blood relative, but I am kinda like, "Can't dad take the brunt of this one now?" What's dad too busy doing? Nothing, I suspect.
Well, the thing is, it kinda talks about how Kit has to take care of Uncle Hendrik after she's done with school for the day, which means that she's done with school at the same time everyone else is done with work. So I don't know why she and Charlie don't just, like, tag team it or, like, Charlie, and Dad don't just help out with different
Like, to share
aspects of
split
it.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels kind of like it just feels kind of like, unfair to her, but she does have a phrase I like where she calls Uncle Hendrik full of pepper and vinegar, which does sound like
Yeah.
something your grandma would say, which in hindsight, like, makes sense because Kit's, like, our grandparents or my grandparents' age, at
Yeah.
least, but I like full of pepper and vinegar. It's a
Yeah,
good
it's good.
phrase. And so they're reading the newspaper, and all of a sudden he starts whacking they hear a whacking from they're in the attic, they hear a whacking from below, and Uncle Hendrik is whacking the roof of the attic with his cane when he wants something from Kit, and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, like,
That's, like, the ridiculous part. It is, like, literally, like, she's not your maid. She is, like,
yeah,
caring for you out of, like, an again, out of a familial obligation, not because she's, like, your nurse or
servant, you're not
anything.
paying her, yeah.
No, yeah, she doesn't have a contractual obligation to you. So to be, like, hammering until she comes down, how fucking
So,
annoying.
the thing I think that is bothering me a little bit about this is he has not given them any money to support them. He has, like, chided them every turn. I don't know why Mother isn't putting, like, stronger, like, "This is the service that you get." Like, "Hey, I'll have Kit come check on you at 4. Tell her whatever you need by then, but she's a kid. She gets to, like, stop doing chores and hanging out and doing stuff like that by 6." Like,
Yeah.
they unless there's some, like, mystery that we don't know, they have no obligation to they have no financial, like, dependence on him or obligation, it's just familial, and that's kinda why, like, the fact that he's so cantankerous is just, like, shocking to me, because it's not even like he has, like, remember, Aunt Millie's the one who bailed them out of, like, the eviction, it's not even like he helped with that, you know?
Right. No, it's the money is just very interesting because it's
Yeah.
obvious. I feel like he must have had the money probably he could have paid for a nurse. It literally just feels like it's worth it to him to inconvenience this family.
Yeah, because then he tells Kit, like, Kit comes down and is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What are you making so much noise upstairs?" And she said, "I'm with my friends. We're writing the newspaper." And he tells her it's a childish waste of time. It's like, "Cool, well, I'm a child, so
Thanks. Cool.
waste
Neat.
my time."
Did
Yeah.
you know I'm 11? Thanks.
And then he apparently wants Kit to write him a letter, which isn't a childish waste of time.
That's right.
So part of the thing that Kit has been doing for him is, he will dictate a letter, for the newspaper, and she will type it out and write it and then deliver it to the newspaper so it can be printed. And I said, "This is the original Facebook uncle," because he's, like, responding to news stories, be like, "I can't believe that all these people are out of work. Nobody wants to work anymore." Signed, Hendrik. They just, like, print it in the newspaper. Like, it's, like, op-ed or, like I know this happened. I remember there was, like, letters to the editor and things like
Yeah.
that. But
Like
it's just
advice
funny, I
columns
guess.
and things.
Yeah, but it's just funny to think, like, you do, like, see, like, like, you have, like, family members nowadays who, like, post on, like, Facebook or repost stories, and you're like, "This is crazy that people do this," but people have always been doing this. It's
Yeah.
like, if
It's just
we
been
were
in different
alive
ways.
yeah. If we were alive, like, 40, 50 years ago, it'd be like me complaining to you that, like, "Oh my god, my uncle keeps writing letters to the editor and then keep printing them, and, like,
It's so
everyone can see."
embarrassing. Mhm. Everybody can see and everybody knows that that's my crazy uncle, and, like,
Yeah.
everybody's talking about it.
And it is just funny because it is like, he's basically writes letters complaining about the president, FDR, thinking he's, like, a ne'er-do-well bad guy. And Kit, like, will type them up, but Kit disagrees with what her uncle's politics are because he's complaining about things like the, like, workmen's associations, like the CWA, and, like, all these things that Kit has seen firsthand have been really helpful to her family. And so she's
Yep.
kind of, like, typing, but silently disagreeing because she has seen how things are actually helpful. And one of the craziest things we learned in this passage that actually, like, sent me into, like, a blind rage is that not only was dad a car salesman, but he's also a mechanic, which seems like a really marketable skill that he could have been using this whole time to do anything for anyone. And this
Like, at
just
all?
literally
Yeah.
I thought he was the salesman. I was like, "Okay, I get why he's out of work. Like, this is a specific skill that isn't necessarily needed." But cars, people are breaking cars. Like, I'm like, I can't believe dad is a mechanic.
Also, like, honestly, though, like, I felt similarly kinda like, because, like, chauffeurs and stuff existed at this time. Like, the people who still had money were still paying for, like, those types of services, so, like, dad couldn't have just offered to, like, drive people's cars around.
or just
Pick people up, drop them
even
off. Old
I mean, but
Uber,
even going around
basically,
the old yeah, even going around the neighborhood and, like, the neighborhoods in town to being like,
who has
"Hey, I'm a private
cars.
mechanic. If you need any
Yep.
touch-ups or you need tune-ups, like, I offer lower prices than a shop." Like, it's just or, like, I can fix like, I just, like and
Dad
also I
was
get
a little bit of a deadbeat all along.
yeah, and in hindsight too, thinking about how Aunt Millie raised Dad, and she's so handy. There's so many tiny skills, and I guess, obviously, we didn't live through the Great Depression, so we don't know what it was like. And so someone's gonna
What?
comment and tell us that we're wrong,
I
that it
know.
wasn't that easy. But we're saying this from our perspective of just what we're reading and what we're seeing, and it just feels like Dad didn't do everything he could have.
Well, because here's the thing. I was gonna say, I think the only thing that I'll say to anybody who wants to come and be like, "It wasn't that easy," is more like, okay, but we are reading American Girl books in which that child went around the neighborhood and sold eggs to her neighbors and
She became the Eggman.
she became the Eggman, and she scrounged together, like, enough coins to save, like, her family's electrical bill. We are disbanding our belief a little bit, like, or suspending
Yes.
our belief a little bit to accept that, like, Kit is doing these things. I don't think it's unfair for us in the context of this book, Great Depression world, to be like, there's no way her dad couldn't have probably done something, whatever it was, to make money. Now, even especially knowing that he had, like, it wasn't
Blue
just
collar skills, right? Is that the right term for it? Yeah.
yeah, like, he literally has, like, a trade
Trade,
skill.
trade, trade, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
he has a trade skill, yeah.
huh? I feel like those were the only people who still had jobs unless they were bankers
Mhm.
or,
No,
like,
I mean, those are the
successful
jobs that are
business
most
owners.
solid because they still need things to run, like, it's like, I mean, I guess, like, a stupid example of it is, like, we're in a recession now in the US, basically. I'm a podcast producer, I used to work for a company, and I got laid off, like, 2 years ago because no one wanted to afford a luxury hire of having, like, podcast producers on staff, and so I freelance now because people don't wanna afford that full-time, but they can afford to pay it part-time, so I work for a
Right.
bunch of different podcasts, like, for, like, 10 hours a week, and it
Yeah,
works, like, so far. But it's one of those things where it's like, I could have, like, gotten laid off my job and just twiddled my thumbs, like, not to
and
be
waited.
pull you up by your bootstraps, America, but it is just, like, sometimes you have to, like, spread your skill, you know?
Yes, I think so. Especially with, like, her dad. I think there's just
There's
we
just
were never
frustration with dad.
given it also stems from the fact that we got his, like, loser arc where he was lying about, like, going to work, but he was
Yeah.
going to get lunch at the soup kitchen instead.
Yeah. Dad's tough.
"Okay, dad, thanks."
She does
So,
seem to idolize dad less, though, so she maybe the shine has worn off
it
dad a
worn
little
off.
bit.
She's grown up.
Yeah. No, because she does kind of, she says something early in the book where she really admires mom or mother. So I think she's seen who's the real, like, hustler in the family, I think.
And we were like, that would be wait, I lost the thought that I had. Never mind.
It's okay.
Forget it.
No worries. No, there's just an interesting note too with Kit writing the letters and disagreeing. She does have enough of kind of a mature look at things that she thinks what Uncle Hendrik is saying is wrong, but she really admires how he chooses to say it. Like she notes that he is like very forceful and very confident in what words he chooses to use and how he chooses to speak. And she thinks like his convictions are strong, and that's something that she kind of notes as like that makes good writing. Like I might
Yeah.
not agree with him, but he's very convincing, you know?
Yes.
Um
He's got
so
he's
it's a
got a
little
good sense about himself, the way he articulates
yeah.
things, even if she doesn't agree.
Exactly, and of course, Kit loves this a little bit chore because she gets to deliver the letters to the newsroom, and hand deliver them, and she gets to walk into the newsroom and see all the buzzing and the typing, and, like, smell the ink and the paper and see all the crazy reporters, and they know her by name, and they're like, "Hey, Kit, what are you doing here again?" And she's like, "I'm part of the staff now."
She's like, "I'm kinda like a part of this." I would like it too. It seems so fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Hit my keyboard. Sorry, Yeti. Um It's like I don't know, it's like one of those things I don't know if you had this experience, but you may because your mom has, like, an office, but, like, did you go into, like, your mom's office as, like, a kid and you felt like you're like, "Here I am," like, in an adult space?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Anytime I was, like, taken into, like, an adult space, I was always like, "I'm kind of special. I'm kind of like the child who is, like, allowed to hang out here."
Yeah, and you're like, "I'm mature enough to be." Like,
Yeah.
I'd be dropped off from school at my parents' office sometimes, I'd go up to, like, reception and be like, "I'm here for, like, Parent Schaefer."
Yeah,
And they'd
exactly,
be
and
like, "We know."
you'd be like, "We know who you are, small child, thank you." And you'd be like, okay,
"I'm
thank
here for my
you.
divorce."
Anyway, just, like, coming to hang out."
Oh, so good. So and it smells like an office, that adult office smell.
But yeah, kinda like leather, kinda clean, like, very, like, sterile. It
Yeah,
made me, like,
and
idealize, like, the idea of being in, like, a cubicle, even though that's not at all what my job is like now, and
but,
not the dream
have
for
you
me.
noticed that as an adult, no office you've worked in smells like an office should smell? Like that typical office smell. I feel like I've
I
never
think
worked
the
somewhere.
only office I've been in that was even office-y was the job we both had in common, and even
Yeah.
that was, like, not an office. Yeah. So, I do feel like we've moved away from it. Even, like, now, like, I mostly work in, like, a co-working space, which is, like,
Yeah.
even an
Well, and we worked
even an
at different
odder concept.
yeah, we
But we
worked at
did work
different
in different
offices too.
versions.
You
Mhm.
worked at the pool hall, and I worked in the, hangar.
Warehouse. Yeah.
The where guess what job we had, guys?
Figure it out, mystery.
You can find out on our Patreon coming soon. Anyway, chapter 3, letters with an S. This name confused me until the very end.
Yeah, I understand.
I was like, "Huh? Hey, was it what?"
You said, "Hmm, huh?"
So it's February now. Kit is doing chore, and Uncle Hendrik has a letter to deliver for her. And she's like, "Ugh, more chore? Aren't I the most chored American Girl doll besides Kirsten? Perhaps."
Could be.
And it's a special okay, this part I was so confused by. Kit doesn't want to do chore because she has to drive Dad and Charlie to the airport. And like she wants to take a picture of them at the airport, then she wants to take a picture of herself in front of a plane at the airport, like Amelia Earhart. But no one seems to be going on a flight. And I don't know why we're going to the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's been a couple days since I read the book, and I read it in one sitting, so I'm kind
Uh-huh.
of skimming back over it to see if there was
It
a better
doesn't say why they're
explanation.
going. It says they have to go to the airport. It doesn't say they're going anywhere. It just says they're gonna drive them to the airport and Kit wants to take pictures.
Yeah, I guess I respect that she's just kinda like, "I just wanna go. Take me to there."
I know, and I do like that she's like, "I wanna pretend to be Amelia Earhart in front of a plane. I gotta do this." Yeah, see, it doesn't say why they're going. It doesn't even say if it's for, like, a job that Dad and Charlie are doing.
Oh, I think it's this. I think it's this one line. She wanted to photograph Dad standing next to some of the stone walls he'd built.
Oh. Oh, so th are they just going for Kit? Like, it's
I
like this
don't
isn't like a thing to this isn't something that Kit would just have to do, they're doing it for Kit.
I don't even know if it's that or if it's just that, like, Dad's like, "I wanna prove that I was doing work, so please let me show you this building that I was working on." And then, also, my daughter loves Amelia Earhart, so let's go take photos with this plane.
While we can.
Wait, what year did she go missing?
Yeah, 1938 maybe?
Expedition to locate Amelia Earhart's plane on hold until next year. Stay tuned. That was one day ago. Oh, a year from now, 1937 in July.
So it's a year and a half before Amelia Earhart vanishes.
Kit doesn't
Haunting.
know yet. Kit doesn't know yet. Anyway,
That's terrifying. Uh, so she, like, doesn't wanna do it because 'cause she's got fun airport plans. Um, and the letter that Uncle H wants her to write is that he's upset that an abandoned hospital is being used, to house transient people. And I was like, "This is crazy because people get upset by this, like, to this day."
I was there. This chat, the letter where he's writing all like the fussy things about the president and the NRA and the different groups, and then the way he was talking about all this, I was like, huh, some things don't change, huh?
No, I mean,
So
we literally, like, in Austin, they have that whole issue all the time when they have an abandoned hotel or hospital or something, and the, like, city government, like, puts in a petition to fill it with people who need housing or to become, like, a homeless shelter, and people get so angry about it, and they get so up in arms about it, so it's like I was like,
it's
"Black have
crazy.
always been the same, America."
Oh, yeah, never change. Well,
We
please
got that whole
change,
"fuck
but
you, I've got mine" attitude, you know?
100%, yes.
So Kit speaks up and she's like, I disagree with you about this. Like the transient people are hard workers and they need things too. And he calls her Miss Impertinence.
And I was like, "Right, right."
And he's like, keep writing. And so she writes it, and then he's like, now deliver it to the newspaper. And she says, I cannot. We are going to airport. And he
I'm
says, no,
busy.
you're not. It's snowing too much. You ain't going nowhere except going out to deliver my newspaper.
He's like, "You're not going to do the fun thing you wanted to do, but you can still go treacherously deliver my bitch letter. Thanks."
Thank you. And now Kid is disappointed and mad, and she gets in a fight with an adult man about the unhoused, and they're screaming at each other. And I'm like, at what point does Uncle Hendrik pull himself out and be like, I can't believe I'm fighting with this 11-year-old who's like my nurse about like differing political views.
And, like, what I that is, like, the joke, right? It is like, what is it worth? She's a child. Like, obviously, you don't agree with her, but also, like, what's it worth to fight with her over this?
Well, because even like I think Kid's right, but even if she wasn't, to your point, she is a child. Like she doesn't know anything. You know, like let her be.
Also, he's always like, "Oh, like, don't listen to, like" oh, I see say the poppycock that your parents put in your head, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, on page, we've also, like, really not had Kit have that many, like, heart-to-hearts with her parents or anything.
Uh-uh.
So I'm also kind of like, I think Kit it's crazy because 'cause I'm like, I don't think Kit is necessarily being, like, radicalized by her parents. I think she's being radicalized by the world around her
Yeah.
and making her judgments off of that, so it's even funnier that he's like, her route you don't get it, stupid child," and it's like, I think she does get it, she's witnessed it all firsthand. And literally was doing jobs and chores for you in an effort to, like, help save her family 3 books ago.
I know, and honestly, Kid's parents are kind of spineless, so it's not like they are these, like, radical
They're
like, I
not
think
there's yeah.
Kid's mom probably tends to agree with Uncle Hendrik more than she disagrees, like,
I
but just
know,
is in
I thought the
different
same thing,
political
I was like
situation.
I was like, I feel like we know
It's
we're
also crazy to disrespect the people housing you for allegedly free, I'm assuming, and taking care of you and
we're
saying
for
that they're
sure not
stupid.
taking money from that man. Everything we've learned about the Kittredges, there's no way
Is it they're
there's
do
no way that man's
they're
paying
milking
them
that cow.
money. Yeah, are you kidding?
So they get into a fight, and he tells Kit that hope is for fools, and this bothers her, and she storms out of the room, and she gets frustrated. She starts to cry, and I do want to make a note. I think Kit is our girl who cries the most
She's cried a lot. She's definitely cried.
every book, except maybe last one.
Did she cry last book? Yeah, I feel like she's cried every other book, though.
She cried in Meat. She cried in Lesson. She cried in Surprise. She cried in Birthday. Yeah, she's cried in every book except for maybe Saves the Day,
But
which is fine.
she felt it seemed like she wanted to cry in Saves the
I
Day,
know, but she had
so
to be brave.
she had to be brave. So
Yeah.
we can give her the award, most tears per girl.
Yeah, but I also like that she has most tears per girl, but she's also kind of a tough girl. I like the kind of
It's
mix of
cute.
that, you
It
know?
makes her very charming.
Yeah, and I understand that as a tough girl who cries a lot. So Kit is morose, and she goes to sit by her typewriter, and she starts thinking about hope and how meaningful it is, and kind of how like things like she's like you can't have like life without hope. Like if you don't hope, then things don't happen. And she starts to look at her typewriter, and she sees the S that was replaced by her dad for Christmas 2 years ago, and it was a small thing he did, and because it was all they could afford. But she remembers how meaningful that was to her. And then we literally go into like every single book, and Kit like flashes back through everything that's ever meant anything to her.
Happened.
And she's like thinking of all the brave and like the thriftiness and like how strong her mom is and how like resourceful everyone's been. And it's like she's like, all this comes from us hoping that we'd get out of this situation or hoping for another day. And it reminds me of the song Tomorrow from the musical Annie. you know?
It is very tomorrow coded. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I think that's kind of, I'm sure that song is in there for a reason, with it being the depression of like, it'll be a better day tomorrow, you'll have a better day tomorrow. It's only a day away.
Yeah.
And I love musical guys. I'm surprised I haven't brought it up more in the kids series. But she kind of gets into her head about this and she thinks, well, if Uncle Hendrik can write all these letters to the newspaper, then why can't I? And so she thinks about how she's been writing all these letters, so she knows how to write a letter to the newspaper now, and she knows how she feels about things. And so she sits down and writes a letter about how the hobos are individual people and we should treat them as such and not as a monolith, and you don't know everyone's situation or how they got there. And some hobos might be older gentlemen or older women, but some are children and some are teens, like our friend Texas Will. And so she kind of writes a very nice letter. And then she's like, I want to deliver this. And so she finds Ruthie and Stirling, and she's like, we got to go to the soup kitchen first, but then we have to go to the newspaper to deliver some letters. And then Ruthie says, letters with an S. Chapter 4. The perfect word. So they go to the soup kitchen first, and she like tells them all about their fight, la 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 la, and it's really icy again. So the kids are struggling in the street. It's really windy, and I was like, I hope Kit doesn't get her ass handed to her again on the
I know. I was like, we're
sidewalk.
about to get a repeat. I was like, truly the Valerie loop around smackdown of every hitter. Here it comes.
Just getting the
1, 2, 3,
crappy.
go. Yeah.
So because they want to go soup kitchen first, and so because Ruthie has a bunch of clothes to donate, because she was inspired by what they saw. So they go to the soup kitchen, and when they get there, Kit asks the lady at the soup kitchen, "May I take pictures of some of these poor children?" And the lady's like, "Sure, just ask their parents first." And a part of me was a little bit like, "Yikes!" Like,
Yeah. It's a little funny. Like, I understand. And
well,
I
I
know her
understand
heart's in a good
after we got it.
place.
I understood after we got the end, but it
No,
also
yes.
made me think of Dorothea Lange. Did you learn about her?
The name sounds very familiar, but I can't say that I recall.
She was a American documentary photographer, and she took pictures during the Dust Bowl, and she has that famous picture of
Okay.
like the mom sitting there like this
Oh, yes. Okay.
with her kids. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't mention her at all because that's exactly what Kit's doing. Um, uh, or even in the Peek in the Past, I was surprised she didn't get brought up because it was like pretty much she was one of the people photographing everyday people in these. It's like she was doing exactly. Kit stole her thing.
Maybe Kit was Dorothea Lange.
Yeah, exactly.
The price.
And that girl was Dorothea Lange.
And that girl was Dorothea Kit Lane.
And so Kit takes photos because basically what she wants to do is she wants to show. In her letter, she talks about how all hobos and homeless people aren't just like adults who are out of work. It affects families too. So she goes and she takes photos of the kids who are at the soup kitchen who are kind of huddled around fires and putting their shoes in front of radiators to like get the wet off them, and just kind of like the kind of pathos of the situation. So she takes all the photos and then she puts the film in the envelope, sorry. She puts the film in the envelope and drops it off at the newspaper. And I did think this is kind of crazy to be like, all right, now develop these photos for me, newspaper.
Yeah, she was hustling. She was like, you guys will need this for the story you're about to write. The story of the century. Brought to you by me, Kit Kittredge.
Kit Kitteridge. So then she's like, next morning she wakes up and she's hoping it'll be in the newspaper, which is a quick turnaround too, I will say.
Yeah.
Like, give it a week, kid, you know?
Yeah, let it settle. They gotta like decide how they're
Let 'em
gonna
cook.
frame it. Yeah, let them cook. Let them develop the photos.
And so she like wants to see it, but she has to give the newspaper to Uncle Hendrik first. And so she's like, I can't like let him know that I'm looking for something, so I'm just gonna have to read it after he reads it. But lo and behold, it definitely is in there because he gets irately angry and is like, what the hell is this, young lady? What have you done? And she runs up and he is like furious. And I said, why is he furious? I'm angry. It's a newspaper. It's an op-ed section. She can write her own piece if she
I was
wants
gonna
to.
say, you were like I was like, you should be flattered that you inspired her into her own letter writing action.
But it's also just like it's not illegal for her to do that. It's not like against she's delivered his letter too,
No, I
like
was gonna say, they could have decided not to publish it or anything like that, but she did all the work. She followed the steps the right way. Good on her.
and so he's angry and everyone is like, "What is this? What did you do?" And her family's reading it and dad is like, "Everyone be quiet, let's read it." And they sit around and read it and her parents are very proud of her. The boarders are very proud of her. Uncle Hendrik is really mad. And he's like, if I were Kit's parents, I'd be like, "Hey, dude, get the fuck out of our house. If you're gonna be
Yeah,
rude to our daughter, if you're
yeah,
gonna disrespect our house, like, this is like, you are a guest here. Start acting like one." Like,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Chop chop, lock in.
Yeah. And he's like, "Where'd you get this crazy idea?" And Kit's like, "I got it from you." And he gets a little bit like, respect.
Hmm, interesting.
He's like, "All right. I see where you come from." And then Kit's story worked though. A bunch of her classmates so it's been also side note, biggest ice storm that Cincinnati has seen in years. So school's out for a week. Like no one's going anywhere. But in that week, a bunch of Kit's classmates have gone to the soup kitchen and donated clothes and donated everything. And even when Kit is being the eggman on walks, people are giving her money and clothes because they saw her article. So like Kit has started a movement in her town and
Which is
she's
really
getting
cute.
people to like donate and like give more charitably and kind of just anything they have that they're not using anymore, like clothing wise, she's getting to go to the children, which I think is very nice.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
very
this
good of
feels
Kit.
more saves the day. Like, in a way, like if
Yeah.
we're we love to get technical about the names. I thought it was charming, but I was kind of like, this is actually more of like a saves the day. Like she took her own like action and had a positive outcome and influence on like
Mhm.
not just like, oh, the people in the boarding house like the last books have been, but like literally in her community.
Yeah,
It's cute.
I agree. But you know what? We don't write the books.
Well, ain't that the truth?
So So yeah, and then Kit is delivering another letter from Uncle Hendrik to the newspaper, and the editor-in-chief, Mr. Gibbs, sees her, and he goes, "Ugh, is that a letter from you or your uncle?" And she goes, "It's my uncle's." And he goes, "Bleh. But kid, if it's from you, deliver it straight to me. You've got chops. I want to hear what you have to say." And I'm like, crazy.
It's an insane pull at the end. Yeah.
It's very unrealistic, I hate to say.
It's just crazy to be like, "I liked your letter and your photos, child. You got gumption. Bring them back to me.
You have the
You keep
makings of
read."
a reporter, kid.
Yeah, hey, 11-year-old, when I can give you a job in 5-ish years, you come here and we'll make you a paper girl. You're like, "Right. Okay."
And of course, Kit is like tickled by this. This is exactly what she wants. This is like
She
everything.
needed to hear it.
And so she's like hopping home, like cloud nine. And as she walks home, she sees a green plant poking out from the snow. And it's a sign of spring, a sign of hope. The end. Bye, Kit.
Yeah, right.
So we get like no
Bye.
resolution really in Kit's story, which I did think was kind of crazy. I think that's what was like kind of hard about this book was that it wasn't like we didn't resolve it. Like I feel like in all the other books we've like resolved something for the girl
Yes.
overall.
Yeah.
Like I thought dad was going to get a job at the end of this book.
Yeah, or like that they would have like maybe made enough. I mean, the depression keeps going on after this, but like it feels like she never had like a major through line conflict.
Mhm. Besides not being evicted.
Right. But even like that's still not solved technically
Yeah.
by the end.
Mm-mm.
Cause like even though Molly not our fave girl by any means, even Molly had the through line of like the absence of her father in the home and his survival in the war as like
Mhm.
through line. That's why it's so impactful when he like comes back at the end. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was kind of odd, an odd ending.
Yeah. It just ended abruptly, I feel like.
Because it wasn't really, there was not really the change is the passage of 15 months of time, really.
Yeah. And the changes that Kit, like, writes for a
Like,
newspaper now?
influences, yeah. The changes are pretty external to the on-page plot because
Mhm.
she only gets to hear about and, like, learn about it in, like, a brief little bit. It's not like she, like, watches it over, like, it happens in chapter 2, and then chapter 3 and 4 are about, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look, and here's, like, a friend that she made or, like, a family that she helped," or whatever.
Yeah.
Ah,
No, it's definitely interesting. But you know what's also interesting is peek into the past.
peek into it.
Peek
Look
into
back.
it. So it says the story ends in 1934, which isn't true. Unless it started in 1932 and they just didn't tell us. They're really like gaslighting us with
I
timelines here.
know, I was like, "That's not right. That's not correct."
When yeah, I don't know what's happening. If someone can figure out the timeline of the Kit books for us, please comment. Um, but it says the depression lasted 6 more years, which is, like, kind of to Celia's point with that, like, yeah, maybe, like, the eviction, the jobs wouldn't have come back, or that would have been unrealistic because still a lot more depression was ahead and a lot more struggle for America.
Right.
Because the peak in the past kinda goes into the fact that, like, this when the banking crisis was really hitting, and so that's when FDR decided to insure the banks so that people's, like, money wouldn't disappear in case the bank went belly up, which was duh, should have been a thing that we had going on.
Feels
Like, your money
crazy
shouldn't
that
disappear
we
because of
never did.
business fails.
Yeah.
And then it kinda goes into the New Deal and how that slowly started to kind of kickstart the economy again. Um, and then it explains Social Security to me, an adult woman, in a way that I was like, "Oh, that's what that is."
It's so funny. I actually also agree. I also was like, "Oh." I, like, understood it like, kinda, but this is much clearer than I've ever
No,
been
I will
told.
say, the thing that I've liked about the Kit Peek into the Past is it's explained things like mortgages and, like, how the depression started and, Social Security to me in a way that, like, it's one of those things that if someone asked me what the function of those things were, I knew, but if someone asked me to explain it, I could not explain it, you
To be
know?
honest, they're also social, like, programs that we still, like, talk about, like, politically and, like, legislation-wise now as adults, and, like, we're finally at an age where we should have opinions on, like, what
Mhm.
happens to them or not, especially, like, with Social Security. Like, I know how often I feel like I heard it as young as, like, my teen years about, like, whether or not Social Security, like, is even something that'll be around by, like, the time we're at,
Yeah.
like, retirement age.
I know, but it just makes sense. I'm like, "Oh, it's to keep track of things for me, a person, my Social Security." I just think it was a card
It's
that I
pretty
had.
wild.
But it's also really cool that, I know this is a old joke, but that we haven't updated what a Social Security card looks like probably since FDR created it.
My Social Security card has, like, my crazy little baby handwriting on it,
I
and then,
know, I
like
signed it when I was, like, 7.
mhm, it's crazy. It's wild. Every time I look at it, I'm like, "I know this is real, but this looks like a
It's like a,
fraudulent
like
piece of paper." Like, this is
and
crazy.
it talks about that and kind of how various programs were successful and some weren't as successful, like, the program dad was in was a failure. Um,
Bummer. Surprise? To who?
it was his fault. And then talks about Eleanor Roosevelt and how she was a controversial figure because FDR couldn't do a lot of the things a regular president would do because of his polio, so she kind of would stand
Stepped
in
up.
as, like yeah, she would step up, and people didn't like her because she was ugly.
Yeah, which feels yeah, also still true in history.
Yeah, some things never change.
Some
And then
things
we go
never
into a
change.
crazy, like, switch around where it says that, things were getting slightly better, but thanks to Hitler and World War II, the economy really got boosted. I'm like, "Hey, thanks, Hitler." Like,
War!
"What?" Like,
Yay,
"Oof."
war.
I know it's true, but it was just, like, weird to see a picture of Hitler all of a sudden and be like, "Wasn't till we start joined the war that everything got cool again." And we
Better.
do a little bit of, like, World War II history, just, like, half a page, and then it says that Kit would have been 18 when World War II started, or when the US joined World War II, which I thought was crazy because wasn't Molly's older sister Jill only, like, 14 or 15?
Yeah, it's just, like, early high school. Yeah.
So Kit is only a few years older than Jill, who's not an American girl, so Jill is alive during all this and remembers the Great Depression, probably.
Like, could have been friends.
Yeah, or at least, like, a little kid in the neighborhood,
Yeah, like, somebody like, you would have, like, known each other. Yeah, it's odd to think about. It's odd to realize that the two of them are technically so close as, like, dolls in
Yeah, less
history.
than 10 years apart, yeah.
Because we don't have that many other girls that have, like, that level. Like, there's other girls who could have, like, overlapped, like, technically, Samantha could have still been alive for, like
Yeah, which we talked about, yeah.
right, but, like, she would've been much older than them.
Yeah.
So it's just
Well,
kinda
it's also just
crazy.
it's also crazy too because it's Cincinnati and, like, a small town in in, like, Illinois. So they're,
Mhm.
like, right next to each other too.
Yeah. It's
What are you doing, Valerie?
Valerie.
And, talks about it kinda ends with being like, "Kate may have been a nurse during the war or a newspaper war correspondent," and I was like, "That's crazy. No, she wasn't."
Also feels like I know women I mean, Amelia Earhart, what a trailblazer, but I also feel like I was like, it still feels like a little optimistic. I know
Mhm.
women did have those jobs, but I was like, I don't know. I mean,
Let's be real, guys.
let's be real. Like, she
Yeah.
probably I do feel like it is a cute idea that, like, she went and worked at, like, the newspaper, though, in, like,
Yeah.
Cincinnati, like, during the
That's
war.
my headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe she became, like,
And
a community organizer.
or, like, just writing, like, the tiny pieces and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she, like, kinda did what she did for the boarding house for, like, the town.
I would like that. Maybe she becomes, like, a gossip columnist.
I don't think she's a war correspondent, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, some things don't feel right.
Yeah. But that's the end of Kit.
Goodbye, Kit. Goodbye and good night.
Goodbye. Good good night and goodbye, Kit. My closing thoughts.
Mhm.
I still like Kit a lot. She holds a special place in my heart. Her books are more boring than I remembered. Just a little bit. I can say that now that we finished. I feel like we've had 3 girls in a row who've been kind of exciting and thrilling. We had Felicity, Addie, and Josefina. And I don't know if any story so far is going to top the kind of journey we put ourselves on for Josefina with her, with the sordid love affair.
Yeah.
And that was so fun to follow that through line.
Again,
That,
a
like,
through
this
line,
felt
though. Yeah.
yeah.
I was just gonna let
Yeah.
you finish your thought. Was that
No,
it?
that's kind of it. Yeah.
Okay. I agree. I like Kit. I think she presents a similar interesting conundrum of Molly, which is like, how do you like this is a period of history that you and I also learned about like in school, similar with like World War II. Uh and so I feel like when you read about them, you're like, oh, I kinda know about this period of history, though. I'm not necessarily learning that many new things, although I feel like Kit did actually teach us more, both of us, where we were
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like a mortgage. Oh, Social
Yeah.
Security." Like, her peeks into the past were more helpful for contextualizing history we both might already have parts of, like, in our brains. But, like, the other girls, the historical girls, are a little more fun because you are actually getting, like, more of their world, and their worlds feel a little richer, I think, because they have to go out into them and experience them a little bit more versus, like Kit's narrative was spent a lot between, like, the kitchen, the hobo jungle, the soup kitchen, the hobo jungle, and her home.
Yeah.
Like, we really didn't spend that much time with her at school outside of, like, a few cameos. So, I liked her. I think she has a good personality. I think, like you said, Valerie saved the Kit books overall by writing a
Mhm.
girl with spunk and heart,
Yeah.
and she's very, like, the type of girl I think who enjoyed American Girls, which is, like, aspirational towards, like, writing or creativity in
Mhm.
some kind, big emotions, but, like, brave and, like, headstrong. Like, I think she is an American girl, and especially
Mhm.
the type of American girl that would've, like, gotten given, like, the dolls as, like, a gift or the books, but her her books were just kind of like she was the standout, not the stories.
That's the thing. I still think like the reason I think the reason I like Kit as a kid and the reason I like Kit as an adult is she was like aspirational for the type of kid that I wanted to be. Like I remember just thinking she was so cool in like a like achievable way, I guess, because there was already personality traits of hers that I like felt like I had or maybe I did have.
Yeah.
So, and I think like I kind of joked. It's interesting to see it now because it's kind of like we jokingly and seriously disliked Molly so much. Like, what if Molly had had the personality of like a Kit? Would it have been different? You know, because it
Yeah.
is just like, oh, so maybe the Molly books weren't as bad because similarly, not that much happens because it's like we said, kind of insular in a more familiar world of a child where you're like at your house mostly or you're with your
Right.
friends mostly. You're not like running away trying to alert the troops that the British are coming at midnight, you know? It's, like, less
Yes.
thrilling, it's more day-to-day, like, ups and downs.
Yeah, the normalcy of
And
like growing up kind of
yeah,
things.
and so it's more relatable to what we all grew up with, like, the twist of, like, a major historical event, but it's just a girl with a better personality, so, really, it's just Molly's fault all over, is the conclusion of Kit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And guys,
Ugh.
if you want to, then you can share this with your trollish uncle on Facebook.
Share this with somebody you'd give a sack of potatoes to.
Share this with your friend who you would make a upcycled coat for.
Share this with somebody you'd like to write a strongly worded letter about.
And send this to your dad who got a part-time temporary job for the first time in 2 years.
And be like, maybe you could learn a thing.
Be like, "Hey, Papa,
Hey,
did you work
Papa,
today?
did you
Did you
work
get it?
today? Or were you lying again?
We're at the soup kitchen again,
We're
you
at the
dirty
soup
bastard."
kitchen again. You stupid fuck.
And if you don't want Celia and I to end up at the soup kitchen, guys, then like and subscribe to this podcast.
Disgrace.
Even if you're listening on YouTube, if you want to go onto Spotify and just give us like a 5-star rating or something
Send
like
us
that.
like a little like. A
So
little
that people
sub.
can find us on like different platforms and we can start making some like more people listening to this show because we are coming up after next week. We do our yapping and then we're coming up on the last OG girl. We're coming up on
Last
Kaya,
woman alert.
which is exciting. And Celia's gonna lead the way with Kaya.
We're gonna get into it. Baby, horses are so back.
Horses, we're always giving Celia the horse girls.
Horses are so back. And better than ever.
Yeah, and then after Kaya, I think we're planning on doing the next set of girls, but we've had some rumblings in the comments about wanting us to cover like the mystery series. So depending on how much feedback we get, we have no plan, guys. This is just like
Kinda one day at a time.
this is one day at a time. So if you guys feel really strongly about something, we can do that.
Let us
Just
know.
let us know in the comments. Maybe I'll do a poll, but until next time, guys, we'll see you in the yapping. We love you. We're rooting for you. And goodbye.
Bye.